Well, for more now on the Turkish expats voting in Turkey's parliamentary elections, I'm joined in the studio by Enes Bayraklı, who is researcher and political scientist at the SETA Foundation in Istanbul. Thanks so much for coming in. Do Turkish expats, first of all, tend to vote in the same way as domestic voters?
Approximately, yes, but there are some changes, and we have seen in the last elections. For example, HDP got 13% of votes in Turkey, whereas in abroad they got 20%. So there are some changes, but not so dramatic, we can say. And HDP, AK Party got 50% votes, whereas in Turkey they got 41%.
Okay. Now, I had seen some numbers the last time Turkey voted that only 411,000 expats actually cast their vote. So the turnout was surprisingly low out of the over 2 million voters that were eligible. Do you expect that to change in this election?
Actually, in the first elections, they got the opportunity to vote. This was the presidential elections in 2014. The participation was around 8% in abroad. But there were some technical issues. They have to have an appointment to cast their votes, etc. So that make it really difficult for them to vote. But this was changed in the last elections, and the participation is increased to 38%, and more than 1 million voters voted there in the elections. And there are around 3 million Turkish citizens. They are eligible to vote abroad.
Okay.
And I do expect it to increase a little bit more. Maybe it might reach to 50%
threshold.
threshold.
Now, the big surprise, of course, in the last election was that the HDP, the Kurdish party, passed the 10% threshold to get into parliament. How does the HDP actually fare abroad? Do they get that support from the diaspora?
HDP got, of course, this kind of, because there is this fact that lots of Kurdish and Kurdish people have migrated to Europe, especially after the 1980s because of troubles, and they got refugee status, asylum status in Germany, and their numbers are a little bit high in Germany and in other countries. That's why the HDP got this kind of support abroad. And that's why they have achieved more votes, especially. It's 20%. It's really high, I mean.
Let me ask you, in the post-election rally that the AKP held in Ankara in the last vote, a point was made by Prime Minister Davutoglu to give thanks to Australian Turks that had helped bring the AKP to the 44% it won, 44% it won in the last election. Tell us more about the dynamic of the Australian diaspora, and why is that important to the AKP?
I don't really remember this statement, but if we think about the Turks and their voting behavior abroad, these votes are distributed evenly in Turkey in the constituencies. So, and as a result of this, votes abroad, AK Party got 2 more MPs at the end, and HDP got 1 more MP in Kocaeli district. So it plays a role, and because these elections also we expect to be very tight, this will help AK Party and HDP to gain more MPs, 2 or 3 more MPs, and it plays a role, and that's why it's important for them, and that's why they are really campaigning hard abroad.
Okay, the expat vote does count. Okay, Enes Bayraklı, thanks so much for joining us.